So John and I, we were thinking, right? We were thinking. John and I like the Beatles. We also like comedy films, comedy TV shows. So it was just kind of natural to blend the two and think of like, what is our comedy Beatles? What is our
Yeah.
comedy Beatles? I'll tell you what we did. We each came up with a first team, second team, and third team comedy Beatles. So it's like each one's a group of four, and we will explain to you guys why this is our comedy Beatles. And each, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I feel like a big thing that a lot of social media teams for like a sports team or like Letterboxd, they always ask everybody their four favorites. There's always like something like that, but at least for this, we're doing the Beatles, which is,
Right.
you know, who's doing that? We just us. And
Iconic, yeah.
I've also got more. I've kind of placed them as specific Beatles as
I've
well.
kind of did that. I kind of did that. Yeah,
A
I kind
little
of did that
bit
as well. I tried. I
to
tried my
add
best. Yeah.
to add that
Right.
element to it as
Right,
well.
exactly. To like kind of, I did place it like, oh, here's the camaraderie, because that's what the
Mm,
Beatles was
mm,
about. That it was about the camaraderie, the synergy.
interesting. I looked at it more of like an individual way of
I did that
I
too. I did
guess.
that too, but I'm
Okay.
gonna like explain. I'm also gonna like explain on how they will work together, to like create whatever they're gonna create and stuff.
Mm.
Um, yeah.
See, that's the type of thinking that most people don't do when they're just like, "Oh, my Mount Rushmore of fast food." It's McDonald's, Taco Bell, there's no real thought to it. But
Oh, it just tastes good. Yeah.
oh, I like Baja Blast. No, we actually put
This
intellect
is the type
into
of thinking that
this.
gets you in a Lexus LS.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. This is the type of
It's
mindset.
that it's that Rough Rider mentality.
Yeah. hmm
All
Yeah, and
right.
I've got some. I'll go in. Once we get into it, I'll kind of explain my.
Right.
I feel like I divvied up the groups in a specific way too, but we'll get into that.
Same. I
Yeah,
did too. I did
yeah.
too. Uh, the way you're talking about it, like yours, it makes me feel like I didn't put enough thought into mine, or maybe you're just hyping it up. Like you're just
Total.
you're.
Yeah.
I bet there's a lot of hype, like clearly, overhype. But like I'm also thinking, I'm like, man, did John? Are mine just gonna sound really dumb now? Because John,
Yeah.
like,
Mine. Yeah. No, I'm hyping it up now, and then you're
I'm
gonna be
sure,
like, "Oh,
like
that's it."
you and Carly were, having dinner, right? And you were pushing away talking about your day, and you were just like,
I
no, 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 no,
was like,
no.
"Wait, I got it." Wait. Yeah.
Yeah, went to the board and
Yeah.
like,
Start writing things down. I like, yeah, wipe all the food off the table, throw it to
yeah.
the ground. Yeah. Oh, I've got it. I've got it. Yeah.
Carly's crying like usual, like wondering how she can make. She's like, it's a cost of living with a genius,
Yeah.
you know.
You know, it's not easy to live with a visionary, but
Yeah. So it's like I relate to that Oppenheimer film with
yeah. That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes you gotta let your inner Oppenheimer out.
All
So
right.
yeah.
So all right, do you want to start it off then, John, with your first team
Sure.
comedy
Yeah.
Beatles? Yeah.
So my first team, Comedy Beatles. And again, I feel like I do with everything I say is I have to preface it, um, so you know what to expect and know where my thought process was.
I
So
gotta defend myself immediately before I
before
say before
you
I
get
say
the
it.
pitchforks and torches out to burn me at the stake,
I
hear
just
me
hold
out.
insecurity in everything I
Yeah.
will ever say.
Yeah. I can't say something with conviction and just stand by it. I
Yeah,
have
yeah.
to, "Oh, don't hate me."
Hey, just know
Yeah.
that.
Okay, so this my first team is they're all white males. I am aware of that. I
You know, John,
understand.
I did nearly the same thing. I did. They're not all white males, but they're males. There
Okay.
are no women in my first team.
And I
Can't have
apologize for
that.
that, but
Can't
I
have that.
yeah.
Yeah.
I will do my best to make up for it in my other groups. But um starting with John
All
of my
right. Yeah.
Beatles of
All
Comedy.
right.
Also, okay, I'll say this too for my entire list. I went with all like comedic actors from movies and TV. That is like my pool. I didn't go with like stand-ups really, or people are who have been in like movies and TV, but they're predominantly known for
Stand-ups.
like
Yeah.
stand-up
Okay.
or something. These are people who
We
are
did. So we
mostly
did that a
known
little
for.
differently. We did that a little
Okay,
differently. I made sure to. I have it. I structured it to where just I have like at least one. Maybe not every list, but I have some stand-ups in there. I guess there's no
okay.
consistency, but there is a couple stand-ups in here. Yeah.
That's good. I'm glad we each did a different take. Then we'll have like should have a
Yeah,
wide
yeah,
range.
yeah.
But yeah, I went all people who are mostly predominantly known for like their comedic acting, whether it be TV, sketch comedy, movies, whatever. But that's
Hmm.
it. So for my John, my first
All right.
team, the Beatles, I have someone who is spiritual and a bit unhinged,
Mm,
similar to John Lennon, and maybe a bit too much for some people at times.
mm.
Um, but I went with Jim Carrey as
Nice.
my John in my first team.
It's good. I had a feeling when you said spiritual and unhinged. I know what you're t thinking. Yeah.
Like a
Nice.
spiritual guy, but there's darkness. There's
Sure.
darkness to
Oh,
him,
yeah,
just like
probably
John.
more darkness than than John.
Yes. Yes.
Well, probably since we're doing comedy, everyone's darker than the Beatles, but
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, definitely a darkness.
And yeah, I mean Jim Carrey, he for better or worse shaped my childhood and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so yeah, he's got to be up there and he's obviously his run in like the 90s
Hmm.
insane.
Kind of like similar to like the Beatles in the 60s, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
true. True. Yeah, and he's just so I just feel like so clearly like the John and this type of you know,
In the group you formed.
this type of group. Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, Jim Carrey is my John. And then we get to my Paul. And again, so this my first team too, these are like heavy hitters. So it's
Right,
going to
right.
be more like obvious mainstream ones, but
Sure.
that's just what this first team is. My Paul, I went with Will Ferrell. Um, and the reasoning for that is I feel like Paul, Will Ferrell is always trying to be a crowd pleaser. He's
Yeah.
Paul's wanting to keep the Beatles going because he's the engine that's like keeping things
I'd
going
also
and
say
doing
like a
things.
little less divisive than Jim Carrey, like he's
Yes.
way more like we all like him, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like not just the boyfriends will like him, like maybe like John Lennon or Jim Carrey, but like the girlfriends will also like him,
Kind of yeah, a universal like just a funny guy
Like
that
Elf is kind of like Paul McCartney's I don't know. Like Wings. I don't know. I have no
yeah.
idea. I don't know where I'm going with that. Like Let It Be or something. I don't know. Like
Yeah.
everyone loves it and everyone's going to watch it and listen to it forever, I feel
Yeah.
like.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of like there's not like you're not going to see Will Ferrell doing like some really serious they like it's also just hard to take him like seriously as a serious actor because he's just
Sure,
so
yeah.
naturally funny.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Whereas Jim Carrey, he's really like acting. He's
Right, right,
maybe
right.
overacting. Whereas Will Ferrell is just kind of being this goofy, silly guy. And I feel like Paul is always he's just being Paul McCartney of the Beatles. He's like always, acting like he's in a good mood and
Right. And I almost feel like, in my opinion, like this is just another Beatles tangent, but like I feel like Paul, to me, from my eyes, is never maybe inciting problem. Like to me, like Paul felt very not he even though he became a dramatic figure for them, I would never look at him that way as like, oh, he was causing drama just by
yeah,
like trying to have like I always feel like he was I think like the last doc sort of covers that. Like it feels like Paul was unnecessarily blamed for breaking up the Beatles, and it's just like if you are as tuned in to Get Back as much as we are, you can kind of like you can analyze enough to be like Paul was like just trying to like get the group to like work together and
yeah,
collaborate like a group should, but like there was things like that between them that were out of his control, you would argue. And I don't see
yeah,
someone who's like being outrightly difficult. Like I don't
yeah,
see that at all. Like he has a point where it's like I feel like I'm like trying to run the Beatles when like you know what I mean. Like I feel
yeah,
like he's really not being difficult at all, and uh, you can almost get the vibe that there's even maybe more of a closed offness from say George, and I'm not blaming George either, but um, it's just like there's just kind of I don't know. It's like it's no one's really fault. It was nature. I always like I view it that way. Like I don't blame anybody. It
yeah,
was kind of nature. Um, if say your Beatles currently happen, like say like they were these comic. There's a reason Jim Carrey and Will Ferrell were never in a movie together like this.
yeah,
Like they're two. It wouldn't work. Like they're supposed to be the star of the movie.
yeah. That's with my first team. They're all heavy hitters, but really the two guys that are just always the, for lack of a better word, the alphas or the leading men. It's John and Paul in the Beatles, and for this, it's Jim Carrey and Will Ferrell in like my first
Right.
team,
Right.
first
Because they're
Beatles,
the two
first
most
all Beatles.
talented comedic actors, arguably, of all time, you could say.
Yeah, yeah, they're just
For at least our generation, you know what I
right.
mean? It's like that,
Yeah,
those are undeniably the most talented, funniest comedic actors ever.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, those are that's my John and Paul, the
All right.
first team. I'm gonna go to
I like
Ringo
how we're doing like this
next.
and we're not doing like so my John is this, my John is this. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like we're
yeah,
that'd be dumb.
yeah.
Well, who's your George for this one though?
Yeah, yeah, right. Yeah. I feel like this is I feel like we have to each explain our,
We do.
reasonings for
We
this.
need the
So,
floor. We need the floor.
yeah. Um okay, I'm gonna jump to Ringo
All right,
next.
all right.
As someone
Finish off
who
with George.
finished with George. As someone who we've mentioned already today. Um and when I think of Ringo, he maybe doesn't have as wide of a range as others might on
Hmm.
this list, but he's steady,
Hmm.
reliable, um, and talented in doing his specific thing.
Hmm.
And maybe someone will disagree with me on this person, but for Ringo, I went with Steve Carell. Um,
Mm. Yeah,
and
I
my
see that. It's kind of like the like a brick and Anchorman type thing. How he's, yeah.
Yeah, I like he can be a leading man, but he's not necessarily like the overwhelming like force of a movie.
Hmm.
But
Sure.
he's always funny, and I feel like he's got just great. Um, he's just a great like comedy mind. He comes from that Second City trained Chicago
Yeah,
improv
yeah,
where
yeah.
he always
Yeah.
knows what to say.
Hmm.
Um, And so yeah, I feel like he can be in the background more like a brick in Anchorman. But then he's also doing his own thing of like Michael Scott, as one of my favorite characters of anything, and I think he nobody else can do that for like the Office. That he is the only one that can be like that Michael Scott character because he is him. And yeah, I just feel like I picked him for this because he's like steady. Like he's not gonna cause he's like Paul, he's not gonna cause controversy, but it's also because he's not as like bombastic and in your face. And yeah, I think maybe he doesn't have as big of a range comedically, and that's not a knock because I think he's really good at things he does do, where he's either a complete idiot or like a complete idiot that's also like a narcissist, like
Hmm.
Michael Scott. Um, so yeah, I
His
think he's
comedic range is very like kind of narrow, but like it hits like harder than like as
yeah,
hard as anything, and you're like, wow, what a genius this guy is. Yeah.
yeah, he's
Yeah.
so good at what he does
He's always gonna be like kind of
specifically.
a weird loserish guy to a
Yeah,
degree. Yeah.
I like the I think Ricky Gervais said about him like becoming like Michael Scott as like the leading man, but also like a buffoon, is that he's nearly handsome. Like he's kind of like
Right.
short,
Yeah.
at the bigger nose. He's like,
Right. I always thought that about him, like,
yeah,
yeah, they're like when I was when I was a kid and I discovered Steve Carell, that he's so interesting because yeah, he is kind of like, oh, that's like kind of a handsome guy. Like Evan Almighty, he's like playing a politician. You're kind of like that
mm,
kind of pulls it off, but then there's like the nose and stuff that makes it like, oh, he's also a funny guy, you know?
yes.
Yeah.
Like he was just on. We just like randomly had Colbert on last night actually, and he was the guest on it, and they showed like he did a commercial for Brown's Chicken in Chicago back in the
Oh, I've
day.
seen that one. Yeah.
And it's just when you see his face, it's like obviously at this time nobody knew who Steve Carell was, but when you see his face, it's like that's fucking Steve Carell. Like he's just like that's
Yeah.
just like this goofy, funny
Yeah.
guy that we all
It's
love, Steve
interesting to
Carell. Yeah,
see him now, like all bearded up and like dressed nice. And he's like, I'm in my serious actor place.
yeah,
And
sophisticated and
yeah, it's
yeah,
odd. And now he has another show out and all
yeah,
that stuff. And I mean, he's getting work, good for him, but it's, I'm never that, I don't know, into it. I need to check out
yeah,
more of it. There's a lot of shows out. There's a lot I got to catch up on, but I've been meaning to catch up with his career. I want to follow whatever Steve Carell does, even if it is the weird period of Steve Carell.
yeah, yeah. Um, but yeah, that's
All
that's my
right.
Ringo and my George. Again, it's also, heavy hitter, and I got my reasons for George, I guess, but it's Steve Martin. Um,
Wow, what a four, man.
yeah, and I feel obviously like George is like the young one of the Beatles, and Steve Martin is very clearly the old one of this group. But
Yeah.
I feel like he also has his like little things
He's like,
he
when am
he's
I gonna get a chance to write and
yeah.
make my own stuff, huh, guys?
But George got really into like he like produced like the Monty Python movies and stuff, and I feel like he's got that like old time period like silly comedy
Sure.
stuff that Steve Martin I feel like
George is like,
is
I'm a wild and crazy
crazy
guy.
guy.
Paul's like, hey, shake and bake.
Yeah.
Shake and bake. I like picturing them I like reversing it.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, I feel like he's done like these like kind of weird musicals, like side project things too. And George had like the Traveling Wilburys with
Sure.
Bob Dylan and Tom Petty, and
I see the
um,
reasoning, yeah.
uh, yeah, and so I feel like he's been good in a group and like working in dynamics with like kind of being the more like subdued person to like John to contrasting with John Candy or um, Eddie Murphy. I recently watched Bowfinger, and that's Steve Martin, Eddie Murphy. So he can play like the
Nice.
straight man and be like a little bit more
Good
toned
for
down, but he's got
John.
a
John, John, you recently watched Bowfinger, man.
that's
Fuck
good.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I haven't watched it in a while.
Um,
I'd rewatch it again.
yeah. Yeah. So yeah, for some reason Steve Martin felt like my George, my first team here. So
I'll
that's
give
what
a
I
little
went to.
spoiler, and it's kind of making me kick myself a little bit, but I didn't put Steve Martin in any of my comedy Beatles. That's kind of
Wow.
a little sacrilege, one might say. I don't know. I'm very much second guessing a lot of the things I did with my with my comedy Beatles right now, but we're gonna roll with it. We're gonna
Yeah.
roll with it.
We can do a whole bunch of honorable mentions at the end, but
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. All right,
Okay.
Luke.
All right,
Let's
my
hear it.
time. First team, let's go. Let's go. All right. Um, this is gonna be weird, man. Okay. My John Lennon. So I'll start off the same way you did. I have the great Larry David
Oh.
as John Lennon. Because John was always known as the nucleus, right? And who's more of a nucleus when it comes to a show than Larry David on Curb Your Enthusiasm? Who show would not exist without him, despite the fact that Curb Your Enthusiasm has a, a an just the longest roster of comedic talent that comes in and out, and that's a lot of what you're looking forward to. Is you're like, who's gonna yell at Larry David this season or this episode or whatever? Like time and again, Larry David is still always the funniest person on Curb Your Enthusiasm,
Yeah.
which is kind of saying a lot due to the guest stars and the cast and all the things that are going on. He is just he's in his element. He's one of the funniest guys ever. He's also one of the greatest writers ever. And as a John or Paul on your list, you need to have a writer, a guy who can write. So that's one of the reasons why I try to choose stand-ups and stuff. Because like John, who in that Beatles of yours is gonna write the material? John, I mean, come on,
Hey, Steve Martin.
it's an
Steve Martin,
improv. Yeah, it's all Steve Martin. It's just
He's
an
gonna write
improv
for
team.
Will
It's just
Ferrell.
an improv team you got going on there. I mean, so I got like Larry's gonna construct, the storylines that are all very that align at the end. The way he does
Hey,
with
there's a lot of improv and Curb though too,
there,
That's
there's gonna be a lot. No, I'm not gonna say there's no improv. Yeah, hey, Curb is improvised.
yeah. Hey, they openly talk about how they don't write a script. Yeah. It's like an
So what the
outline.
what are you talking? It's an outline. Yeah,
It's an
exactly.
outline, dude. It's not a script.
Fuck yeah, bro, you're right. But so yeah,
Let's
so yeah,
start
I
over.
got
Yeah.
I got Larry there. It's John. It's kind of funny to picture him as John Lennon. Okay.
Hey, I can see
So
it, you know.
right,
He's
right,
got
right.
those glasses,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Larry's John. Paul McCartney. I got I got Chris Rock. Um, because again, for the writing thing, Larry and Chris are gonna bounce off ideas together. They're gonna be like have that synergy going, and also just for me lately, like in terms of like I've been trying to in terms of a stand-up, say we're when we're talking about stand-ups and their body of work, I just think Chris Rock has one of the greatest bodies of work in all of stand up. Like when you're talking from beginning to end, like say Bring the Pain to the last one, I forget what it was called, but like to Tambourine and the last one, there it is so consistent all the way through the quality of stand up. And I just think he's arguably maybe, there's obviously Pryor and there's Norm and Carlin and all these guys, but I think in terms of like who has consistent hours, Chris Rock is arguably the greatest ever with stand up and just brings it every single time. It's like he's even made the comparisons to him and Prince. I know we're doing a Beatles thing, but it makes him
Yeah.
kind of like McCartney, like he just has Like he's just so prolific, man, when it comes to putting out those hours, you know. Not as prolific in the film world maybe or the TV show world, but like top 5 is pretty good. You know, he's got funny scenes in like Pootie Tang and you know and Grown Ups when he's with Maya Rudolph. He's
You
like,
know, my sister and I, growing up, we used to watch Head of State all the time. Have you seen that when he
nice.
becomes
Yeah.
president? I
Yeah.
feel like nobody talks about that
Him and
anymore, but
Robin both had a president. Had a president.
yeah,
Oh, what if a comedian's a president? You know
yeah.
what I mean? Yeah, when I was in film school, I remember thinking like, how come no one's ever thought of a comedian being a president before? I'll write that on spec. And then like you see that there's been like 2 already that are
Yeah.
mediocre. But one I think isn't Head of State Rob Reiner, I think, right?
Uh, I don't,
Not Head
is
of
it? I
State.
don't think so.
The one by Robin. The Robin one I think is Rob Reiner.
Oh, Chris Rock directed Head of State. Um, didn't realize that. Yeah, him and Bernie Mac. I think Bernie Mac is like his brother. Um, it's a really like mediocre movie, but
Right.
but Chris Rock is just and Bernie Mac that like
Right.
never not funny, those two guys. So yeah,
So it's just like Man of the Year is the Robin one, and that's not a
that's
Rob
it.
Reiner. That's Barry Levinson. Written directed
Rob,
by Barry Levinson, but it's got Laura Linney, it's got Christopher Walken, it's got Lewis Black. It's kind of trying to be. It's also got Tina Fey and Amy Poehler. You know, possible comedy
wow.
Beatles coming up, but like, um, but like it's you this one had a Man of the Year is trying to be a sophisticated movie in a way, and it's very, you know, it's weird and it's flawed, and Laura Linney kind of falls in love with Robin. She's like, oh man, he's the president, and Robin's like, you know, like all his speeches, of course, are punchline after punchline of like
Mhm.
Robin being funny and stuff, and it's worth checking out, I'd say. But yeah, Head of State, man, I've seen it. And back to Rock, man. Yeah, I just think like Rock is one of the stand-up goats easily. Like he's like
Mhm.
the LeBron James of stand-up comedy or something, you know? Like he's just so good. And every time I'm watching his specials, I'm in awe of how good they are.
Yeah.
And he's just unreal. Like when he comes on, like I don't know, like how you are on about like comparing him to like say someone like Chappelle. I feel like Chappelle maybe had like more of the crown like pre this trans stuff and pre like Netflix and stuff like that. And Chappelle definitely, you know, openly went into more of a like, oh, I'm more of a relaxed, rich celebrity comedian who's having fun and enjoying just being successful and being on stage and just having fun. When
Yeah.
Rock has never like he's never let up. It's like every special is like he's trying to prove each time how great he is. And even like the last special, especially, he has that chip on his shoulder of like being just slapped by Will Smith, and he goes and his last 10 minutes are on that slap, and he knocks it out of the park right after doing a great bid on like how like you know, Jay-Z, like Beyonce could work at Burger King and still marry Jay-Z. And if Jay-Z worked at Burger King, would it work the same way? Like that, like brilliant material right before. And you know, Tambourines directed by Bo Burnham, and it's just fantastic. And so yeah, anyways, I made enough of a case for why he's my Paul. So let's move down the list. All right. George, I have one of your guys. I have, and I don't really have any reasoning for this. I just wanted to put heavy hitters in there. Jim Carrey's George.
Nice.
Yeah. Does
Spiritual too.
Yeah, a
I
little
mean,
spirit.
that's
There we go. Spiritual. Yeah.
yeah, makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Um, seems like he would also leave the group. Jim Carrey would
To
leave the
do his own
group, you know what I
thing.
mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, to do his
Yeah.
own, yeah, to be like, I want to go paint and shit. Kind of like
Yeah.
what Jim Carrey did. All right, and then as my Ringo, another heavy hitter you had, I have Will Ferrell as Ringo.
Nice.
Because I feel like Will Ferrell's just so for comedy and for how good he is, the most charming thing about Will Ferrell is that he's very drama free. He's very like I think what makes Will Ferrell is like he's just down to like play, and there's no ego about Will Ferrell, despite and a lot of his characters are about pretending he has an ego and pretending that he thinks he's like a great singer or something like that. When that's the opposite clearly of who he is.
Yeah.
You know, and he would flow with whatever drama this group created. He would not care that Larry and Chris are trying to write all the material when Jim Carrey probably wants to write his own material or something like that. He would just be like, I'm just gonna, I'm just trying to drum. That'd be Will Ferrell back there. And so yeah, that is
Yeah.
my Beatles comedy first team.
Great list. Yeah. Um, yeah. Yeah, I got no complaints about that. I'll say I initially was thinking about putting Larry David on mine, and that was before I kind of decided on this theme that I was
Yeah,
going with.
yeah,
But yeah, I think Larry's a great pick for John. But then yeah, I think I didn't include him in mine because I was going more so for people who have like who are known for being being on camera doing lots of different
sure.
things. And then Larry, he was really
Larry does
just
like
done
Larry, he does
Curb.
like
Yeah.
one thing really well. Yeah.
Yeah, that's totally his like his zone. Um
Yeah, I mean this my being that I put Larry in for my first team, the whole thing would have to sort of revolve around
yeah.
Larry.
Yeah.
Selfishly. Like Jim Carrey would have to be like, "What are you doing, Larry? You don't double park on a park sidewalk." You know what I mean?
I would love to see Jim Carrey in the Curb
Oh yeah,
world.
yeah, for
Oh,
sure.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Th those are also very good Curb like storylines where he has like um just beef with people who are playing themselves. Like recently when I was rewatching Curb, I was in that when he's in the producers and like David
Oh
Schwimmer and
yeah.
Ben Stiller are like
Yeah.
he's
Ben
just
Stiller at the
like
beginning of the season is like I don't know, whatever Ben Stiller's doing at the beginning of the season, he's like, it's just so funny. Like,
I
it's just,
love the dynamic between them.
yeah,
They're
yeah.
just hate
Ben
each
Stiller
other.
is just
Yeah.
brilliant on Curb. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, and David Schwimmer. He's like when he's turning back to him on the airplane, he's like, like
Oh,
I when he's like
he
talking,
yeah, he's yeah, Schwimmer complains about like how much he's talking or something to the flight
right.
attendant. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so good. Um okay, well we're in my
David Schwimmer, unfortunately, not did not make my comedy Beatles list.
he's an honorable mention. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, we're on to my second team. And from here on out, it gets much more like personal. Like these are my personal
hmm
picks for people who,
I'll say for me for here on out it gets kind of like well this one second team's pretty solid but like third team I'll preface like down the road my third team I just went with something like weird because it's the third team, you know what I
yeah,
mean? Yeah.
I did the same. Yeah. Um, the third team is like my wild card
My third team's whack. Yeah, like
list. Yeah.
I just had fun with my third team.
Okay, yeah, my Beatles of comedy,
Yeah.
team two.
Right.
Like I mentioned, these are more sketch comedy people who have been in movies and TV, and that's what they're known for. But my John in my team two is Tim Robinson. And like I said, these are getting more personal now as
Right.
we get more in the weeds. Um, and Tim Robinson, like with Jim Carrey in my first team, Tim Robinson's
Yeah.
the characters that he usually plays, there's like a darkness to them.
Yeah.
They're very unhinged and something wrong with them deep down. And I feel like he's created his own like niche that is
Yeah.
just it's just really
Tim Robinson's like isolation.
yeah. I mean, a lot of his characters are like isolated,
Yeah, yeah.
lonely guys. Yeah.
Do the montage of Tim Robinson with isolation. That's a good promo video for this
Yeah.
episode, actually.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I feel like he's a heavy hitter nowadays in his own right too. So, um, yeah, and I think too, it's like my first team was, um, they're kind of
Very
they're
of
in
the
gen
similar era,
yeah, Steve Martin
except
obviously
for
a little
Steve
bit
Martin.
older, but at the same time, he had new stuff out when we were like growing up that
Yeah.
feel like we grew up when he was really doing his same thing still, but maybe he was more of a dad.
He's like,
Uh,
why am I not writing? I influenced all of you.
yeah. And yeah, I feel like now Tim Robinson is the kind of the new,
Right.
the new generation here. Um,
Yeah. A couple weeks ago, I was like kind of in a dark place because I had been doing stand-up comedy and like I was looking for shit to watch and movies weren't doing it, so I turned on I Think You Should Leave and I just kept watching this one sketch over and over again. It opens an episode where he's being that like the silent guy.
oh yeah.
He's like the silent performer
I never
and
talk.
they're like yeah, and
What are you doing?
they're
What
like,
are you...
what is that? He's like, it's a house, it's a house, it's a house.
It's
And I
rank.
and I just couldn't believe it. It's like I've never seen anything
That's
like that sketch in my life. It's just insane.
that's what I think. It's
Like,
like
they're like,
endless.
and he's like trying to do the performance. Just
It's
insane.
like nobody is
No,
giving him
nobody's doing
that
it.
limitation. He's doing that to himself, and then then he's paying people. Like if I talk, then I'll pay you. So then
Yeah, yeah,
obviously
yeah.
people are just going to take advantage of that.
Yeah,
But
it
he's
becomes
like,
like a bro
this
frat
is
thing
his
to
like
do.
burden. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
he's like walking
yeah.
past the line, like the crowd that's like
Right, right.
formed. They're like, oh, we're gonna make you
Like,
scream. Yeah.
yeah, exactly, exactly.
And he's like, "Oh
I,
God," and then
yeah.
he's just like riding a bike. Just, what are you doing? What are you doing? What is that?
What's going? What is there?
Yeah, it's just endlessly rewatchable stuff because you kind of,
Sure, yeah. You can become like weirdly like obsessed with like what the hell is this, you know?
yeah,
Kind of
yeah,
like with that sketch. There are moments where I'm watching, I'm like, what is this? Like, what the
yeah,
hell, you know?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Just every now and then, I just kind of I go back to it and watch and
But
just
he opens
blown
up
away
like
by
he's kind of
what.
opened up a world, like he's influential in a way. Cause I'll like, I don't know, I'll be like be at my job at the restaurant job and I'll be joking around with like someone and we'll do something that's really silly and stupid and weird and I'm like that's very Tim Robinson and I'm like I feel like that it's opened it up for that kind of weird,
Yeah,
humor like the bound like boundary he's made it more boundaryless boundary yeah
yeah,
boundaryless.
yeah, yeah. I agree. Um, So yeah, I feel like it was a good fit for my second team here, and this is where it kind of starts to the like actual who's what Beatles sort of starts to go away a little bit more. But um, my Paul for my second team is Will Forte, who was kind of a late addition to my list because I
Right,
don't necessarily always think about him as much, but then once I started to like go
right.
through what like everything from him on SNL, MacGruber, The Last Man on Earth, um, and he has an iconic sketch, and I think he should leave too. And it's I feel like
Yes, he does, yeah.
he always brings it, and he's like he always makes me laugh. Like he's just
Yeah. And he's so specific, but he's a heavy hitter. He's a
yeah.
very specific heavy hitter. Yeah.
Yeah, just like a total crowd pleaser. And yeah, he's just he has his own, I feel like his own like kind of unhinged niche as well, like
Yeah,
Tim
yeah. He's
Robinson.
kind of
And
like he created, Tim Robinson, like his era of weird, and Andy
Yeah,
Samberg and Forte have like their own type of weird, and I feel like paved the way for Tim Robinson for sure.
yeah. Yeah, and I think that yeah, he's both been a part of like ensembles where he's very funny and then gone off to do his own thing that have been really great too. And yeah, he's someone like both Carly and I can watch like anything that he does, and like we both
Nice.
she might not be as big into like Jim Carrey, like we talked about before, but Will Forte, that's like we started watching like the MacGruber show. Like I feel like nobody talked about. They're like, there's a whole MacGruber show out there on
Yeah, I've
Peacock.
never watched that. Yeah.
It's great. It's just
Mm.
ridiculous and stupid, and really funny too. So yeah, that's definitely a big personal pick too. Will
While Jim
Forte's got to
Carrey
be in
maybe
there
like Carly may not be into, I bet she's into Tim Robinson though, because like, right?
to an extent.
Because
Yeah,
I've okay, because I
not
found
as much.
girls like I've met girls who really like it, and I'm like, oh, really? Okay, I did, yeah,
See, I thought that like almost everybody thought Tim Robinson was as hilarious as I think he is. Then we've got some friends out here, and I'll include Carly in that, who they get a little tired of like the
I
yelling
see.
aspects of it. I can see that. To me, the funniest thing to me is someone who's like really unhinged for
Sure, yeah,
over
like
like very
not everyone likes
minimal
Eric
things.
Andre, but I when Eric
Yeah,
Andre's like
same thing.
hitting, I'm like, man, like he has this one thing. I think it was where he's doing stand up at um I'll send you this clip just so you can watch it. He's doing stand up at the Improv, and he's like just yelling the whole time about like, and it's just so absurd about how the world is just fucked right now, but it's in like you're gonna love it or you're not gonna get it, you know what I mean? And it's a
Yeah.
little it's a little like how Tim Robinson is so specific. Here, let me try to find it and I'll send it to you.
Yeah, and I can see why some people wouldn't be as into it because it's a bit over the top at times, but I something that just really makes me laugh is these like unhinged characters that um just sort of lose their mind over like
Yeah,
very,
yeah.
very small, minute things. And that's Will Forte and Tim Robinson, I think both do that really well.
You can keep
Should I?
going if you want while I'm looking for this.
Okay. I'll move on to I'll do my George now, who I know I'm finally getting off of just doing white men and I'm gonna throw a white woman in there. This is someone who I picked for my George on my second team. One, she's up here because I always think she's funny in everything she's ever been in. She makes me laugh constantly. She's a heavy hitter in my mind, but is sort of more of the quiet one who doesn't get I think everybody's seen her in something or at least heard her do a voiceover in something, but they might not exactly know her, but she always brings it in it. Oh,
I found it and I
found
sent it
it.
to you.
Okay.
It's wild.
Yeah, I love that. But that's exactly it. It's like he is like losing he's like reacting how we all should be reacting to
Right.
what the fuck like what the world is right now. Uh like he that's the appropriate reaction to all this shit, but he's yeah, just completely losing his mind about it. And that's another thing to go back to like Tim Robinson is like sometimes a character he'll be doing on the show is like yeah, sometimes I feel like this guy that he's like this character, but you hold it in
I feel like it's
and
like he's reacting to it as like that's how people are reacting to it, and like it almost makes you take a step back from it and be like just I don't know. I don't know. Like it makes you think, okay, it's not, I don't know. It frees you from thinking that any of it's that bad because you're seeing
yeah.
this reaction to it, and it's the craziest reaction that could be, and the most crazy portrayal of it to the point where you're like, Nothing's as crazy as this guy on here.
Yes,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
It's just so he's yeah. When he's hitting, he's like as brilliant as anybody to me.
yeah.
Um,
All right. Back to my
he's also
George.
not did not make my comedy Beatles. I'll say.
Honorable mention.
Yeah.
Um, all right, my George and my Beatles team too. Like I said, she always brings it. And I feel like she's more of the quieter one, so less, not as much in the limelight as John Paul might be. But it's Kristen Schaal, um, who everything from first thing I ever saw her in is Flight of the Conchords, which was, one of the first HBO shows that really I really gravitated towards. And I've probably talked about my love for like these New Zealand comedy world of Flight of the Conchords guys, Rhys Darby, Jermaine Clement, Brett McKenzie, but Kristen Schaal is like the super fan in Flight of the Conchords, and she's hilarious in that. She's also in What We Do in the Shadows, which is also that, comes from that New Zealand
Mm.
comedy world. And and then she's also in like Bob's Burgers, hilarious
She's
as the
also in
voice of
Dinner for
Louise.
Schmucks. I
Dinner for
mean,
Schmucks, she's
yeah.
funny in that too. She and to go along with Will Forte, her and Will Forte are the two leads in Last Man on Earth, which
Mm.
honestly, one of the first season of Last Man on Earth is one of my favorite seasons of TV
Really?
ever.
Man,
And it's
that's a lot of
because
things I need to be writing down right now.
write
Yeah,
that
Jesus
down. Yeah.
Christ.
I think
Last man on earth.
that show unfortunately I think just because of like the premise of it, there's only so much you can do with it. So like later on, it loses steam. But that first season with those two, it's mostly just those two, and they're so good. They're so funny. Um, and I just remember like when we were like, um, I think Carly and I were finishing up What We Do in the Shadows because that just ended recently, and her role in that kind of grew as the show went on. And I just realized like I love her in everything that she does. She, like Will Forte and Tim Robinson, can be really unhinged and like a wacky character, but um, it's she's never not funny. She always
Nice.
brings it. So,
Nice.
um,
A deep cut
and
pick.
yeah, a deeper cut, but someone who, yeah, whose career I feel like I've always like gravitated towards stuff that she's been in. Um, and yeah, she's the George because she's more under the radar, I feel like. Um, but yeah, yeah. So shout out to Kristen Schaal. Doesn't get enough love. And that brings me to my Ringo, my team two, who uh Ringo for many reasons. One, because he's also a drummer. It's Fred Armisen.
Nice. Nice. Awesome. One of the best picks of the day, man.
Yeah, great pick by me
Yeah.
here. And again, like all these people in this team too is very personal to me, of people who I just really like. And Fred Armisen's always been one of
Yeah,
my
I
favorites
like Team
from,
Two, man. I like Team Two is a good one.
yeah. This is more like, the first team is like the heavy hitters, the everyone knows them, all mainstream. And this is more like the personal heavy hitters for me too.
I've been watching along with I rewatching I think you should leave. I've been watching Portlandia for the first time.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that like I think you should leave has moments where you're like, I cannot believe how strange and funny this is. My God.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's just
Yeah. And
and
that's
also has more of a mainstream quality because Fred Armisen has like the connections to get everyone in it. And it's just that's great. Yeah, Portlandia's so great.
so I feel like Portlandia, I think it was like, fairly big when it was on, I guess, but I feel like it's not as big as it could be because it really is like
Probably because Fred
uh,
Armisen's so like kind of weirdly niche, more niche
yeah.
than he should be.
And Carrie
Um,
Brownstein is like not
not too
people
famous.
don't
Yeah,
really know her, yeah.
right.
But it's like I think it's such a perfect like sketch comedy show for like millennial, like this millennial when millennials took over culture.
It,
in a
yeah, it's
way.
very specific for millennials and for also people who are like going for show business in some way, who are very or obsessed with show business and culture and art and entertainment because like you have to understand like that's like I understand the sketches, but I don't know if like people who say like they're as accessible as say like SNL's. They're not as accessible as
No.
SNL. They're way more like niche and stuff like that to
Yeah.
people who are like in this show business bubble or like in a world of like consuming tons of content and music and stuff like that and
Yeah,
yeah,
if you're really into just really into music and movies and TV, like
yeah.
outside of just watching it just to pass the time or to unwind it, then not someone who watches Yellowstone or some
Yeah,
shit like
that's
that,
kind of a great contrast to Portlandia is Yellowstone. Yes,
Yeah.
I'd agree.
If you're not watching that stuff like, every parent is. Yeah, Portlandia, yeah, that's true. It's I feel like it's a great comedy about just the millennial takeover of culture from when we were in like college around that time, like Obama era for sure. And
Yeah.
but yeah,
I was at like
it also
work
is
one day
still
and the theme played like the in
yeah,
my job and I was like, "Huh," and I'm also watching this at home right now. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Um yeah, that I think that is like what solidified like me as like a big Fred Armisen fan was
Well,
Portlandia.
and also it's just
Um,
like every SNL 2000 sketch that was like he's like the funniest thing in all in like every big sketch. Like
yeah.
Californians, he's the funniest thing in Californians, I think. And
And then they did that
uh
like Ian Rubbish thing, which is the what led into like documentary now is when he's like a punk rock, like a British punk rock
think I
guy
know what
from
you're
back in the
talking about.
day.
I'm not it's not coming up right away, but
But it's like the I think where like you and me get really into him too is like like his musical knowledge, like that niche that he
right,
has to do like a funny thing, like a funny music doc, a funny fake music documentary, something like from Documentary
right,
Now,
right.
or like the Ian Rubbish thing on SNL was like a look into this punk rocker from the 70s who like, but he for some reason he really likes Margaret Thatcher. So he's like anti-authoritarianism until it gets to like a politician that he likes for some reason. Um, but he
Yeah,
just knows his like world so well that if you're like interested in that, then it's gonna be
sure.
something like made for you.
Yeah. He had
Yeah.
like a show at Amoeba that I missed last year because I was working, but he was
Mm.
premiering that album, I think about sound effects or some shit,
Oh,
or one of those.
yes. Yeah.
And yeah, and I was like, damn, dude, I really wish I could go to that. That'd be so sick.
Yeah.
Well,
Have
it's
you
like
listened to any of that?
him and no, I didn't. I should check it out. I've
Yeah.
needed to, but it's like him and Hader are those kinds of guys where they're like such nerds and
Yeah.
like it's so openly nerdy but also comedic geniuses. Yeah.
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 I
Those
I
are I
almost
love those guys, man. Yeah.
I almost included Bill Hader in this grouping too, but I felt like Fred kind of took over in his place, I guess. If I was gonna, I don't necessarily want to include both of them, but one of them, and Fred would be the one, just mostly because of Portlandia too. But yeah, what they did with like Documentary Now, that's
Yeah.
like
I mean,
they're
monumental, man.
Fred is obviously like the huge music nerd, and then Bill is the huge movie nerd, and then they just like
Right,
combine
right,
that to make
right.
spoof documentaries, and it's just like a perfect show. Yeah,
What I forget what
yeah.
live thing was on that I was watching, and then I don't know, like Fred Armisen's band actually. Oh, I think it was probably like Everybody's Live. It's probably
Oh
Everybody's
yeah,
Live, where like his band actually just came on, and he's the drummer or something. I don't know. Like he's
yeah,
been like all over with that lately. Yeah,
yeah. I feel like they did some like punk covers or something like that.
yeah,
I've seen him do that before. But yeah, that sound effects album too. That's like a very niche thing that he just like understands so well. And
right.
if you are someone who goes to concerts a lot or anything, like it's like just the sound effects of like leaving a concert, he does that, and he's like pretending to be like the security guard. It's like you're gonna leave out the back entrance. Move to the left. If you're waiting for the bathroom, stand over here. If you have a yellow wristband, you need to be in the. There's like a Portlandia sketch about that too, where he's
Oh
like
yeah.
outside doing crowd management, and he's just one of those like concert venue workers that's like way
Yeah, yeah.
too like authoritative about his job. Yeah.
Nice. Nice.
So yeah, I
I
could
always
go
like
on
him
and on,
in
but yeah,
Kissing Family too, where he's like,
yeah.
we're vocal checks. Like where he
For
like
the for the vocal checks.
he's such a
Yeah,
like that's one of my favorite sketches of all time, is Kissing Family. And
yeah.
he's like the nucleus of that, where he's just like, we're a little thing called vocal checks. Like,
He's such a chameleon. He can really do
yeah, he can do
like
whatever. He could be the
anything. Yeah,
craziest thing there, or he can be like your glue, you know what I mean? Like he can do
yeah,
whatever. He can do
yeah,
anything.
yeah. I could. I feel like the team two is almost like my personal like team one in a way, but you had to
Right,
have
right,
yeah. But I could
right.
go on and on about Fred Armisen. Yeah, I think he's a genius. Um, that rounds out my team two.
All right, man. My team too. All right. My John. My John is the first woman of my list, and my
There
John
we
is
go.
Tina Fey.
Nice,
Because
nice.
again I'm going with the writing thing.
The people who do the actual work, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, I'm going with the writing thing. And actually, of team two, she's gonna carry the load. Like, she's not gonna. Well, actually, you know, someone else might write a little bit. I'm getting ahead of myself here, but yeah, I don't know. Tina Fey speaks for itself, man. Speaks for itself. Head writer of SNL. 30 Rock is arguably one of the best uh, comedically written shows ever. If you're just going off of a writing standpoint, it's not like my favorite or anything like that. You know, there's many comedy shows that I like personally, are more important to me than 30 Rock. But if you're just breaking down like what are the best jokes on a show, 30 Rock has the funniest, best jokes sometimes of any show. So yeah,
I haven't really seen too much 30 Rock, but
really,
Carly
I would.
loves it. So yeah.
Carly loves it.
Yeah, yeah.
I would check it out because like
I feel like I
it
should, yeah.
has there are jokes where you're just like, I can't believe how good that is and how funny it is. Like yeah, you'd love it. You'd love it. I
Cool.
would rewatch it again. Okay, so that's my John. My Paul. I went with Bill Hader.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. Because Bill Hader could have been on the first team. There's a couple people here who could have been on the first team easily. Um, Bill Hader, like Fred Armisen, is a genius, and also weirdly like such a humble, like you know, guy,
Yeah.
uh, and he could write a little bit, because he wrote some sketches on SNL, and he wrote Barry. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
He wrote Barry. He wrote and directed Barry. And also like I don't know, when I think of Hater, like when I'm as like say you're talking heavy hitters, right? Like he's heavy hitter. He's a heavy hitter in a way of like say you put him like if you watch that video of him on Conan, it's like Conan's last year, and it's him and and Conan's just basically like kind of like very directly asking him to do every impression he has.
Hmm.
And there is no one funnier, like ever, like than when Bill Hader's just doing all of his impressions. He's got the timing of them all down. Like he's doing he's doing like Lauren Michaels. He's like, he's doing like just everybody like there's no one funnier like than when you just line Bill Hader up to do all of his impressions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Uh,
definitely could go on any day could just go on like a Bill Hader Conan YouTube binge.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
There's the one I'm talking about specifically. It's like 20 minutes of him just being like he's like doing Lorne Michaels.
Yeah.
He's doing everybody. He's doing Judd Apatow, like Seth Rogen. It's just great. He does like a tauntaun in Star Wars at one
Yeah,
point.
that's so
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
I love how he tells stories too when he tells
Right.
stories and then
He has
does the
such a
character.
great way of presenting it too. It's
Yeah.
not just the voices. He has a great way of presenting it. Um, I forget who else he does there where
He has a good story on Conan where he's talking about how he was like a PA on an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie.
right. And he's like
And he's like,
we
show
showed
me your
Predator
leadership
here.
capabilities. Like
Show me your
he's
leadership capabilities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like something so like tiny, like
Right. It's
where
like
is
to
this person or
find his
something.
like assistant. Show me your
Yeah.
leadership capability.
It's like okay, like as if it's like
Yeah.
yeah, some big huge task to undertake. Yeah.
He has this because I have a serious nut allergy, and I had like another anaphylaxis incident this past year, last year, from a restaurant I worked at. So and when I was recovering it, I was kind of just in a bad having a bad day the next day, recovering, and I was watching a video with Hader on Conan where he's talking about his nut allergy and how he had a reaction on a movie on Skeleton Twins, and he was seeing this like New York doctor. It was like so he's doing an impression of a New York doctor, and he's like, "Do you carry an EpiPen?" He's like, "Do you carry an EpiPen?" He's like, "No." He's like, "You're a fucking idiot," or something like that. You're a fucking idiot.
I think he's got one where he does like a New York accent too, where he's talking about like someone he's like walking in New York and someone is like in a cab or something and yells out to him and they're like, "Hey SNL, you suck." Like something
He's
and just
got
like
one
drives
like
away.
I just remembered one. He's like doing the tauntaun on Conan, and
Hmm.
he does, and he's like George Lucas is totally like he's totally arriving, and he's like, oh, they know it. It's not even really George Lucas, but he just does this like voice that George Lucas is making. It's like,
George Lucas
um,
impressions are really funny too, just
yeah.
because he's just kind of a character. Yeah.
Oh, they know it. They know it. uh, all right, so that's uh
Paul.
Paul. My George is Steve Carell. Also
Nice.
could have made the first team, but I cut him out for someone else. But like definitely could have made the first team. And also, he's got George because, he would leave. He wants to leave. He didn't want to be on the office anymore. He left. He left and he went to go make things that were serious to him, important to him. Yeah, I don't know. We talked about Steve already. Um, okay, so Ringo is I actually put this in the last minute. Ringo is Kristen Wiig
Nice.
for some reason. I had on this list at first Julia Louis Dreyfus, but I cut her out for Kristen Wiig. I was like, I can't cut out Kristen Wiig. Kristen Wiig's too funny.
Hmm.
Um, and so my second team is very very Second City like improv sketch. My
Yeah.
second team, yeah.
Hmm. Nice.
Uh,
I like that though. That's good. Yeah. Kristen Wiig,
yeah,
someone she's yeah, a heavy hitter too.
yeah. I mean, yeah. Like she cool. Well, she'll show up in a movie, and it's the funniest thing in the movie. Like
Yeah.
in very funny movies where,
Yeah.
um,
And
yeah,
there's certain people too like her where they're like just when they're on SNL too, like she's clearly like one of the ones carrying the show too. Like
sure, yeah.
pro when at her like peak on SNL, she's probably in the majority of sketches and probably leading a lot of them too.
And kind
So
of like
yeah.
Will, I feel like she's insanely funny, but yet really not cocky about it. like at
Yeah.
all. No ego about it.
Yeah.
I used to watch those videos of her when I was younger, like on going on Jimmy Fallon and pretending to be like someone else. I always used to think those were so funny. You ever seen those? Like
I don't think I've
she
seen
like
those.
she dresses as like Michael Jordan and Harry Styles, and
Oh,
Jimmy's always asking her
I do remember that.
questions,
Yeah.
and she's like, like she doesn't know
Yeah.
any of it.
I'm Michael Jordan.
She
Yeah,
she
yeah.
plays like she comes as Daenerys Targaryen at one
Yeah.
point,
Yeah. Okay,
and
I do
like
remember that.
she's like, I have my dragons.
Or it's like she's not like trying to do like an impression of these people. She's just
No,
like
she's like not at all. She just
being,
dresses them
yeah.
and she's like,
Yeah.
it's pretty hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, all right, but that's my second team.
All right. Okay, yeah, now we're to the third team where we already talked about is kind of
Mine's mine's wild.
wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. These are the wild cards. Um there's even some where I'm like, do I want to yeah, I'll keep them in there. Um okay, I'll go with my John in
All
my
right.
Beatles third team is Rick Moranis.
Wow.
And
Okay. Yeah, yours is very
wild
I
card,
already
huh?
I can see the direction of your third team already.
Rick Moranis, I think, is one. So, like John, we lost John early.
Yeah.
Who knows what John would have been doing nowadays if he was still here, or even through the 80s and 90s. Like, we've had the 80s version of Paul McCartney and
Mhm.
all the great solo albums he had. But yeah, Rick Moranis, because I think his wife died and he just wanted to kind of leave show business and take care of his kids. Like such a noble thing. What a um
Mhm.
yeah, just kind of like he just seems like an all-around good guy that we didn't quite get enough of. Like we could have gotten so much more. But when you look back, I mean, he was both a leading man and the perfect like comedic side character. Like thinking of him in as a leading man in Um, Little Shop of Horrors,
Mhm.
he's great. Spaceballs too. I think these are all like these like 80s comedies that are kind of like iconic now, and um he just has that like look too. Like he's just got the comedy look to him that he's just
Yeah.
very funny
Yeah.
and I think he could both be like a bumbling, like nerdy little idiot, but he could also be um something completely ridiculous, like in Spaceballs. And I think his character in like Ghostbusters is very, very funny too.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah. Best part of the movie, probably.
yeah, yeah, so good. And I think he's someone who this kind of like my wild card group of people who have done really, really funny things, but they're maybe not as like um, they're not like the first people you think of necessarily, but people who I've really enjoyed in the roles they've done. So, um, Rick Moranis is my John in
All right.
my third team. And okay, for my Paul, I went with someone who we've also mentioned already, and that's Maya Rudolph. Um,
Nice. Oh man, I'm kicking myself that I don't have Maya Rudolph on my list. Damn.
so she was one of the first people when I was like, okay,
She should
I
be on first team in replace of somebody.
get Steve Martin out of there, and I'll put her in my
For
first team.
yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
should kick Chris Rock's I was about to say his Chris Rock's black ass out of there for Maya Rudolph.
Now she's someone who's like like Fred Armisen is like so incredibly talented in a lot of different ways, but then also can just meld into these like really funny characters, can pretty much do anything and make it funny.
Yeah.
Um, just someone who like when you see on screen, I know she's gonna be funny like effortlessly and
Hmm.
make me laugh. And she's also just very likable too. So um, I wouldn't say that there's like necessarily like one or two like really big things that she's done that I'm like necessarily drawn to, but it's just her whole like body of work, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
There's not a whole lot of like bad stuff that you'll find. And two, when she's on SNL, I think she's underrated from her SNL days too. And like a lot, her and Kristen Wiig had a ton of great sketches together too. Um, and so yeah, I feel like she's someone always makes me laugh, always has a wide range of talents that she can bring, but maybe not on like the not the one of the first people that
No.
you might think of. So yeah, she's my Paul on my third team. Um, okay, and then my George is kind of a wild card too. And if you don't recognize her name, you've for sure seen her in something. But Patty Harrison, um, who is also George's the name of George's ex-wife. So
Oh,
that's
good
why I put her
crossover.
at the George spot.
Patty Harris.
Patty Harrison, okay, she's been in I Think You Should Leave. She's in like every season of that in some way. Um, and she's been in she did a movie with like Ed Helms or something too, which
Hmm.
I think was probably kind of forgettable, but everything comedically that she's done has been so funny, and she is
Oh,
like
I've seen
kind of
Together with Ed Helms and Patty
okay, yeah.
Harrison. That's a good one. Yeah.
Um, and I think specifically her roles in like I Think You Should Leave are just so incredibly specific to her. Like it's almost like for sure like written for her. And I think she's like insanely funny all the time. And
Nice.
yeah, someone who's always made me laugh. I feel like she's gonna be a bigger name down the road, but yeah, I feel like another going along with my theme of people who are like extremely funny and that I've always enjoyed seeing them in something, but not necessarily like the first build person. All right, so we're to my Ringo. Um, okay, yeah. And again, this is another person, not the first build person, but extremely funny. And whether it's like a show or a podcast, um, I'm always excited to see him. It's Jason Mantzoukas.
Oh,
Um,
wow. Okay.
yeah, I
Nice.
think this is a real out of nowhere one, but
Yeah, this one's out of nowhere.
I was like making my list and I was thinking of like this is someone who I always like uh I love Jason Mantzoukas. I don't know what it is. I just have like a huge like fangirl obsession with whenever I see him as like
Hmm.
a guest on something.
Hmm.
I'm like, "Oh, this is going to be hilarious." Like he always oh, this is okay. I'm gonna side tangent, but have you ever seen like the Chris Gethard show? Um
I know it. I don't think I've seen it. I know of it though.
It's mostly all on YouTube now, but
Right, right.
there's an episode where there's been a couple episodes where him and Paul Scheer have kind of like taken over the show, and
Hmm.
they both of them together are great too. They have just great chemistry, but uh, Jason Mantzoukas just like kills me. I think he's so funny, both just like again being on like a show like that or like a podcast where he's being himself, but just being super funny, and then also being a character and whether it's Parks and Rec or The League or um,
Yeah.
a side character in other shows or movies, where I just think he can like steal a scene with whatever character he's playing, and a lot of times he plays like complete assholes who are you just can't stand, but he's so good at that.
Hmm.
Um, and two, I just finished reading Larry Charles's memoir.
Oh, cool. I want to read that too.
Dude, you should. You would love it. Yeah. Um, I just read it, and and he goes in talking about the Dictator, the Sacha Baron Cohen movie.
Right, right.
And I forgot that Jason Mantzoukas was in it as like the dictator's like kind of right-hand man for a lot of it. And Larry talks about how Sasha was kind of a diva during filming that, and he asked for like major parts of Jason Mantzoukas' character to be like cut out of the movie because he was funnier than him. And it's like
Wow.
it's really interesting.
Interesting. That's really
The book will
interesting.
give you kind of maybe a different opinion of Sacha Baron Cohen after you read it,
Hmm. Wow.
but he talks about how funny like Jason Mantzoukas was being like in the movie
Wow.
that they had to
That's
like
wild,
tone
man.
they had to tone his character back in the edit to not overshadow
Wow.
him. So
Crazy. Would have thought. I
yeah,
need to rewatch The Dictator now because of to
I
check
know.
on how
Yeah.
I want to see Jason Mantzoukas' Mantzoukas' performance.
Yeah. Want to study it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, for real. Yeah, wow, that's crazy, man. Yeah, but
Yeah.
I remember seeing that book in Barnes and Noble, and I'm like, I have to.
The
Every
Comedy
part of my
Samurai.
being has to read
Yeah.
that.
But yeah, it was a good book. And there's a ton of stuff about, Seinfeld and Curb in it too. So
Yeah, and also Jason Mantzoukas, just to go off that, like I don't really ever fixate on him or think about him, but it's like whenever he shows up in something like a podcast I'm listening to or TV or something, I'm always like it always delivers, and I don't think I appreciate it. I don't think I appreciate him enough. You're making me like rethink that a little
see,
bit.
yeah, that's why I always that's why I put him on the list is because he's someone who like I feel like he just always brings it. Like
He does. He's always good. Yeah, he's always
he's such
good.
a
Like he'll
good
be on
performer.
he's like on Blank Check. I'll be watching Blank Check
Mm.
because I'm obsessed with Blank Check. I'm maybe not as obsessed with Mantzoukas or how it gets made, but when they show up on Blank Check, I'm like, these are great guests. This is a hilarious episode now because of these guys. And I think he is on Curb, I think, at one point, and he's very good on Curb, I think.
Oh, yeah, I think in a
For
later
some
a
reason,
later
I'm picturing
season.
him on Curb right now. Yeah.
No, I think you're right. I think in one of the last couple seasons he's in it. Um, I forgot he's in like John Wick. He has like a small role in John Wick too. Um,
But I totally spaced on that thing about him being like the side guy in The Dictator.
Me too.
Because The Dictator, people kind of blend into that. And
Yeah.
do you know who has one of the funniest scenes though in The Dictator? And it's like one of the funniest scenes, period, is and actually, man, he should be honorable mentions hard for my comedy Beatles, but Bobby Lee,
Yeah.
I think is one of the funniest people, and he's in The Dictator, and
Man, I forgot about him
he
too.
has that
No.
scene where he's like a Chinese dictator, some like Asian dictator or something. And he has a wife, and he's like, no, 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 he doesn't speak any English. And he's like, see, he's like, you fat horse. He goes up to her like her face, like, you fat horse, and she's like, see, oh, I don't know if you remember that scene, where she's like,
No, I
he just
don't.
keeps going like, oh, see, she don't know. It's like one of the funniest scenes of all time, I swear. And I didn't realize till years later that that's Bobby Lee.
Yeah, he in some of his like earlier acting stuff where he doesn't look like he does now, it's like it takes you a sec because I think he's in Curb back in the day
He
too,
is.
but
He's
his
like
look
only
is
the
completely
best meat
different.
for Chow.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He doesn't have like that because now I feel like for the past 10 years he's had this like same look
Yeah, 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 yeah.
going for him. But yeah, before then, like Mad TV days was different. Um, but yeah, yeah. Mantzoukas, what I appreciate about him is he's gonna bring it every time. I think he just understands that like the audience, whether they're listening on a podcast or they're in a theater for a live performance or it's in a movie, he knows the audience just wants to be entertained, and he's just gonna do that. He's gonna
Right.
entertain you. So yeah, mad respect to Mantzoukas. Um, yeah, and I could listen
Mantzoukas
to
on
him on any
drums, huh?
podcast. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, then like Ringo, he's keeping it steady. He's always just gonna
Right.
he's gonna do his job as an
Like
entertainer.
Ringo and Kristen Wiig and
Steve Carell, Armis,
Kristen
you
Wiig.
know.
Kristen Wiig's on drums.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That time for my third team
There
to
we
round
go.
us
Yeah.
off. All right. My third team is wild. All right.
Oh, I'm
But
ready.
coming up, we got the great, as John Lennon, we got the great Norm Macdonald.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
I actually put him in last minute, um, and because I had actually had Jerry Seinfeld there, uh, and so I was like, no, let's actually put Norm Macdonald there. Um, I don't know. Speaks for itself, man. I don't know what else. Norm speaks for for himself. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's the unique voice. He would have if I did more like stand-ups in mine, I would have included him, obviously. Um,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So he'll be writing the material, the stuff,
Yeah.
which is kind of funny. It's funny to picture Norm writing for someone other than himself.
Oh,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? Because
Yeah.
it's like he's so just that's Norm.
Yeah. Hmm.
When the teacher would put chalk on the chalkboard, and
Some of his jokes too, like in like Hitler's Dog, where he's
yeah,
like the identification joke. It's kind of something only like there's like those simple jokes that he pulls off that really only he can pull off because of
right,
his
right.
delivery. Um,
I forget
like
how the teacher thing goes, like the chalk on the chalkboard thing, and like how he like eventually like ends up dissing teachers or something. He's like, you see, I don't know. Do you see?
I don't know if I remember.
He's like, do you see, old man? Old man, when it puts the chalk on the chalk. I forget. It's like it's similar to like how Louis C.K. has this like they both have a bit where it just makes teachers seem like the most pathetic losers. But Norm's is where he's going like, you see, old man, when you put that chalk, when you erase that chalk on the chalkboard, like, I forget how. I wish I remember how it ends, but it's so funny.
And going back to like Conan hosting the Oscars, I think Norm's monologue for the Canadian
Yeah, I actually
movie
recently
awards,
watched that for the first time, and it is like he's great at hosting because, like,
that
yeah,
that's the
yeah, he's
best
it's
like award show
really good.
monologue ever, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah,
Um, I like he has that bit speaking of Chris Rock too. He's like, yeah, I was talking to my buddy Chris Rock, and he was like, yeah, Norm, I'm about to host the Oscars. Isn't that crazy? And I was
right,
like,
right,
yeah,
yeah,
well,
yeah,
that
yeah,
is. And
yeah,
then
yeah,
he's like, so you're going up to, what are you doing going up to Canada? And he's like, just visiting some family and stuff like that.
yeah,
Like,
right,
doesn't want to
right.
admit that he's
Just
hosting
visiting,
a
just
show
says
too.
just
That's,
visiting family and friends. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. What is it? Visiting some family and friends. Um, yeah, yeah,
yeah. The
all time
Norm
great.
doc is coming out soon. Eventually, I think. I cannot wait for that. The
Oh, I
Judd
didn't know about
Apatow Norm
this.
doc. Yeah,
Oh,
Judd Apatow just he dropped the Mel Brooks doc. He's coming out with the Norm
Bamford,
doc and the Maria Bamford doc are coming out. Yeah.
who Maria Bamford was honorable mention on mine
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Didn't make it.
I snubbed her. I replaced her with I think Tina Fey or Kristen Wiig on this. I was gonna put her on the second team, but then I was like, how is she gonna fit in with anybody on this thing?
Yeah.
Let's just be real here. All right.
Yeah.
So Norm's my John. My Paul is Mr. Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chalamet.
So at first I was gonna have Jerry Seinfeld and Adam Sandler. But like I thought,
Wow.
why not Norm? Let's give Norm some love. And also like Norm and Adam, work together better probably than Jerry and Adam.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Jerry would probably be like, "You underwrite everything, Adam. There's no writing for
Yeah.
anything. This is all about writing, Adam, and you're not writing."
Do we know what Jerry Seinfeld thinks of Adam Sandler? I
I
feel like
have
he would
no
have
idea what he thinks of Adam Sandler.
feel like he would have a strong opinion about him.
Jerry Seinfeld's one of those guys where he can totally have no opinion about a certain person and and you wouldn't blame him at all. You know what I
Hmm
mean? Like just because of his own world he lives in. But yeah, I
I,
don't know.
I'm glad you included Sandler. I had
Yeah.
thought about it, but I just felt like Sandler doesn't always like. I feel like he's not always like necessarily like the funniest
No, no.
guy, and that's why. But it's like he's just likable, and there's like
Right, right,
a
right.
comfort to like some of
Right.
his
If his
movies and stuff. But
movies
yeah,
hit comedically the way his comedy specials hit, or his his appearances on, like when he's actually doing comedy, his movies just there's a vastness in quality. But that's also why he's on. I remember this is the third team, and I feel
13.
like
Yeah, yeah.
him and Norm Macdonald do not care if it's good or not, and that's what makes them fun. And that's why it's
Yeah.
perfect for third team. Is like the delivery of Norm and Adam is great for a third team. This may not be, 5-star, comedy coming out, but it will be fun and it won't take itself too seriously.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, all right, all right, all right. So that's Paul. And then as my George, I have Aubrey Plaza.
I did think about her. But yeah, I think this is a great pick though too.
Yeah,
Nice.
because I do think she's one of the funniest people. And also, I don't know, doesn't really give a fuck about what
Yeah.
she does.
Yeah.
Kind of like Adam Sandler, and Norm. So I feel like, you know,
That's
she'd
a
work
fun group
well.
you've got
Yeah,
started right
it's
here.
a fun
Yeah.
group. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a fun group. And really, like, I'll see her on just an interview. Like, she's on Good Hang with Amy Poehler, and you'll see her on
Mm.
there. And I'm like, man, she is just so effortlessly funny all the time.
Yeah.
Just her being herself.
Hmm
Um, okay, and then this one's where it gets even crazier. But
All right.
Ringo, Ringo, I have Owen Wilson.
No. Wow.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm really glad you put him there too. I'm happy about your third team where you're getting some
They
people
kind of
in there
work,
that
right? You see what I'm
they
going for here?
yeah.
They kind of work. Like
I
Owen
think these people
Wilson,
need to
yeah.
be mentioned. So yeah.
Sure, yeah. Owen Wilson, like you wouldn't even put him in the comedy world, right? But he's just in so many things. He's in so much shit that's all a comedy. He's not in serious things ever, really.
I know
He's
what
not
a
like
he has
he's
an
not a
interesting
serious
career
actor.
because he
Yeah.
started out as like
He's
just like
such
Wes
a weird
Sanders.
he's such a weird guy.
Oh,
Yeah.
so weird. Like he
Yeah.
just starts out as like Wes Anderson's buddy from film school, and they like start making movies together. But then he goes from like that into doing like being a huge comedy star in like the
Right.
2000s with like
Right.
Ben
Huge.
Stiller,
Huge
who
comedy star, man.
yeah, uh, yeah, and he is really funny too.
And
Like
I don't get it entirely. I don't get it. I
no,
think that's partly why why I enjoy it is because I don't get Owen Wilson's at all, really, like why he's the star of these movies. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
it's
why is
yeah,
he always doing movies with Vince Vaughn? Like why is he in Hall Pass? Why is he the star of Hall
yeah,
Pass?
yeah.
Like, um, I'm trying to think of others right now, but like why
Zoolander.
is he married to Jennifer Lowe? Why is he fallen? Jennifer Lopez fallen for him in that "Marry Me" movie. But like when I saw "Marry Me," I remember like realizing like I'm seeing "Marry Me" for Owen Wilson. You know what I mean? Because I want to
Yeah.
see Owen Wilson, and um, also like in Inherent Vice, Paul Thomas Anderson's movie. I love all the stuff with Owen Wilson randomly. Like
Mm.
he's just really good as the character he plays and has actually some of the most heartwarming things in it. And I don't know if you watched Stick at all, like on Apple TV
No.
with him and Mark Maron, but it's okay. It's worth watching. It's not great, but like I enjoy. I was like, why not, dude? Like I was on a Marin kick because WTF was ending, and he was always talking about on WTF or on his lives. He's like, yeah, we're finishing up Stick right now, and like, like, and I'm getting ready for next season of Stick because we got renewed, and I did a set at the store, and then I'm going to go net tomorrow morning. I got to shoot Stick, and like, it's just like I was
This
just like,
golf show I'm working
yeah, I'm
on
doing a
here.
golf
Yeah.
show now called Stick. And I was like, I have to tune into this. Like, I have to. And then, like, and while I was watching it, I was like, man, like, I was like, Owen Wilson is good for the mental health. He's not
Yeah.
even that, like, directly funny, even in anything, really, where I'm like, oh, man, remember that scene where Owen Wilson just kills me? It's never the case, but there's just
No,
something about him that's good for the mental health.
I
I don't know
agree.
why. He's just super comforting, a super comforting presence on screen, and he's always kind of like he's like, yeah, we're gonna do this now. We're making the stick, and like like yeah, like he's just so comforting for some reason,
Yeah. Yeah,
and I think
I
he'll work well with Norm and Adam
yeah.
and Aubrey.
Yeah, has Owen Wilson ever been in an Adam Sandler movie?
I bet he would work great in an Adam
Yeah.
Sandler movie.
I do like him in
You picture Norm's like, all right, count us down, Owen. Can I get a drum drop, please?
he's great in the Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou too. The
Oh yeah, yeah,
where
yeah.
he's Bill Murray's like son.
Right,
Um where I feel like he could be for some reason he can be like a womanizer in some things, but then
right,
really
right,
dorky guy in
right.
others
Yeah,
too.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's weird. Yeah,
But it's weird when he's like a womanizer guy because he's just
it is. It is.
odd
I'm not
looking.
totally with. I'm not totally with that. I like the wholesome stuff way more.
Yeah.
Because I think he pulls off the home like in Marry Me, he's like a single dad, and he's wholesome, and that's why she's falling for him. When in like fucking like in in Hall Pass, he's like saying things like he's like hitting on a woman at a bar, and he's like, are you from Ireland? Because when I see you, my wiener doubles in size. It's like it's similar to like I don't know. I don't like Jason Sudeikis being a womanizer either. I like Jason Sudeikis as the wholesome America's guy, thing. But I don't like him as a womanizer as much either. But I think that comedy movies used to be in a world where this is a different era. This is like pre, Me Too and all this stuff. But like comedy movies used to very much overly revere womanizing men. And like,
Yeah.
oh, that's funny. Over there, like a man who's horny and wants to be with a hot woman. That's what people want. That's what like
That's relatable.
comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what comedy used to do. Is like, man,
Yeah.
men just want to get laid. Isn't that what life's all about? That's like what that's kind of just comes from that era, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean Sandler too. It's like he's the funny guy that gets the girl in the end.
Yeah, he's with Brooklyn Decker and Jennifer Aniston for some
Yeah.
reason.
What the hell? Yeah. I forgot all about that movie. Yeah. Yeah, it's like back in those days it was like you had to be like a funny guy and then you could get
Right.
any according to these movies, you can get any
Man, a
woman you
funny
wanted.
guy, you're a funny guy. You can bang anyone, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
basically. Yeah.
Um yeah, wow. That's going along the Owen Wilson along with Owen Wilson, I'd say Ben Stiller was someone who I had thought about putting on my list somewhere.
Yeah, yeah. I
Um,
feel a little bad not having Stiller somewhere.
because I think too, like Tropic Thunder. I
Yeah.
think that's a great one. Like
Well,
him,
also
Jack
he can
Black.
be a he
That's
can be a heavy hitter, like
yeah,
Zoolander and
Dodgeball.
Dodgeball and Curve. Yeah, Dodgeball is one of the funniest roles ever, I
Yeah.
think. I think it's easily one of the funniest roles ever.
Yeah, sometimes I feel like you because of like stuff like Meet the Parents or Night at the Museum. Like he's done a lot of really big popular stuff where he's
Yeah,
kind of like the everyman. Uh, but he's done some really ridiculous characters like
yeah.
Zoolander or
It's like, cram it up your cram hole, the floor.
yeah.
Some of the shit he says, man. Like,
Yeah. Nobody makes me bleed my own blood.
nobody makes me
Ugh.
bleed. I mean, that was like the most quotable thing, like in
Yeah.
movies
White Goodman.
for years was White Good. Everyone was walking around saying things that White Goodman said,
Yeah.
like
Uh
even in my house, like my parents were like quoting White Goodman all the time. Like that was like a family movie that we all loved. Like Dodgeball was on all the time.
Yeah, that's it's a classic.
Yeah.
Um yeah, and now I feel like he's more like reclusive doing like
Yeah,
behind the
he kind of
scenes
pulled a
stuff.
he pulled a Carell in a way, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Um yeah, any other honorable mentions for your
I mean, I don't know. I think like I'm not really because I feel like we brought up a lot of people along the
so many?
way.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, yeah.
I guess I'd say
I
Paul
mean,
Rudd was someone who I
Paul Rudd, yeah,
contemplated
yeah.
putting on here.
Paul Rudd
Uh,
could be, you know, on my like one of my teams. He's too good for the third team, I think. Like
yeah.
that's why I need to have Owen Wilson, you know, like
Someone
yeah,
more
Paul
third team-esque. Yeah.
yeah.
Because Paul Rudd's another person. If whether he's leading, he's like the leading man, or he's
Yeah.
Kunu and forgetting Sarah Marshall,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
kills it. Yeah.
My Hawaiian name is Kunu. Yeah.
Oh, what's that mean? Pete or whatever his like regular or I forget
Oh,
Kevin or
Pete.
it's whatever
Oh,
his like American name is.
right,
It's
right, right.
just whatever.
Oh, Pete. Pete, I stopped using years ago, man. My Hawaiian name is Kunu.
It's like, oh, what's that mean? Pete. Yeah, there's just a website where you can just type your name in and it'll
Yeah,
tell you your
yeah, yeah,
Hawaiian name.
exactly.
It's
There's a
like,
bunch
oh.
of there's a bunch of right, right. Oh, you know who I could put on, and it's now that you're making me think of it, Jonah Hill. Jonah
Mm,
Hill was a he, you know, he didn't age as well, but he was a scene movie movie stealer. He would like he's one of the funniest things in every movie he's in.
yeah.
Yeah, including forgetting Sarah Marshall. I'm trying to think of others where he shows up and he's like one of the funniest things there. But like he had it down, man.
Yeah.
And 21 Jump Street was where he got to like really be the star. And like I mean, if you rewatch 21 and 22 Jump Street, they are so funny. Him and Channing Tatum.
Yeah, I
Uh
haven't seen those in a long time. I should go
yeah,
back. Yeah.
they're great. They're great. Like just watching Jonah Hill like talking to Ice Cube or just like the type of humor that's in it. I'm trying to think of another Jonah Hill like This Is the End. Like
Mm.
it's a very funny movie with a lot of funny people. It's like but like him and Danny McBride are by far like the funniest people in the movie. It's not even close.
Danny
Um
McBride, it's another one.
yeah, yeah, Danny McBride, man. Yeah, yeah, another one who could have been on my list. But Danny McBride is just so he's just so specific in a way where like
Yeah.
um I want to give Jonah Hill a little more love. Like I don't want to just mention like two things because I know he's done more, but
We were just at a friend's house a couple weeks ago and we all watched Super Bad and that was
yeah.
very
Yeah, super
enjoyable.
bad.
I love and forgetting Sarah Marshall too when he's like singing along to
Inside. Yeah,
Inside.
he makes the scene. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's already
Yeah.
like a song that you're gonna remember and think is really funny, but like Jonah Hill singing along kind of makes it, you know, like because you don't really remember the song as much as you remember Jonah Hill be like, inside of you.
Inside, like he gets really into
Inside of
it.
you.
And when Jason Segel's like going up to uh the restaurant and he's like, just a table, just for one. And he's like,
Right, right.
just you? You're alone? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
No, like wife, girlfriend,
Your
friend,
girl,
no one.
you mean
It's
your
just
wife,
your wife,
girlfriend? He
friend.
keeps digging
No,
for it. Yeah.
it's just you. Nobody else. Okay, yeah. Like just yeah, making it uh as worse as possible for this guy.
Yeah, he always where he says like, "I'd like to sell you some weed right now, but I'm at my place of work, so I can't just leave work to sell you some weed. I can sell you some weed when I get off work." Like, it's just like random shit like that.
Yeah, I do feel like he has lately become trying to become like the cool guy. Like maybe he
Yeah, it's really unfortunate.
got tired of being like the I don't know, the kind of loser-ish characters that he could be.
Yeah, I think it like got to him.
Yeah,
Uh,
got to his
yeah,
ego a little bit.
weird career because I'm looking at it right now and like I'm like really looking back on it. I think his like funniest role is actually Forgetting Sarah Marshall. And like by far. But like not to say he's not fun. Like he's in funny people. He's very
Oh,
good in funny
yeah.
people. He has this he has this line which it does not age well, but it's pretty funny. It always makes me laugh where he's like he gets back to the apartment and funny people and he's like, "Hey, how's it going? Just saw Harry Potter." And he's like, "Hermione's got some big old titties."
Yeah, that's when he's at his best, when he's just,
Yeah, where
stupid shit
he's
like
just kind
that.
of showing up. Yeah, Get Him to the Greek is very funny. I haven't seen it in a long time, but and obviously
Uh,
in Wolf of Wall Street, he's fucking hilarious. Like just like but in a very like aesthetically Scorsese-esque pleasing way where he's like he's like he's like, "You make a lot of money." Like the scene, just the opening scene, his first character, he's like, "You make a lot of money." So what do you do, bro? I'm just trying to figure it out. Like, how much money do you make? like, just like, yeah, he's just great. Him and
uh,
Leo have a time.
in Knocked Up too, and he
Oh yeah, yeah,
isn't he one of like Seth Rogen's roommates
yeah.
or
He's one of
something
his
like that?
roommates.
Yeah, I can't think of any other honorable mentions, but I feel like those. Obviously, I just mentioned Seth Rogen, but who I thought about for
I
this
thought of
too.
putting
But
Seth in here, maybe on the third team or something
hmm
like that. Yeah,
yeah, of course, like him a lot, but I feel like he's not as like uh, yeah, just doesn't he doesn't have the same like comedic force on screen, I think, as
no,
these
it's like
other
he
people
had it
do.
during like those first two movies. Like I feel like with like super bad, he's hilarious. If he was super bad more often for me, you know what I
Hmm
mean? Because I feel like
Yeah,
he's in his bag in super bad with Hater and also Pineapple Express. That's one of his
great.
funniest roles for
Yeah,
sure too.
yeah.
Um, a cop, a lady in a car. Like that. Like, what happened to the lady? No, it was just a guy.
Yeah, that's an all-timer too.
And he's like, "You've been picking me up for me for like 3 months now." He's like, 3 months. He's like making it seem like it's a really like genuine thing.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, it's our comedy
that's
Beatles.
our
We
comedy
did it.
Beatles. Yeah. As you can see, we put a lot more thought into it than people do with their, their four favorites or their Mount Rushmore of
Sure. We put
whatever,
more thought into this than people do with their own finances.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's what we do here. Um, so yeah. Do we need anything to do anything else to recap our lists?
Nah, I
Or
don't
do we
think
think
so, man. What are we gonna?
I think we
All
got
right,
it?
again, my John Lennon's
Let's do a
like, hey,
rundown.
my Paul, Chris Rock. That's my. It's like doing like Again, that's my John's are David, my Paul is Chris Rock, my George is Jim Carrey, drummer Will Ferrell. I'll say it again. Larry
Let
David.
let us know in the comments which of these teams that you're rocking with the most, you know. Is it
Yes.
Luke's second team? Is it my third team? Is it Luke's first team? You know who? Yeah. Who do you got?
Who's America's team out of all these
Yeah.
comedy Beatles, you know?
That's the question.